point, April's anime almost had a completely different ending, at least if the studio had gotten their way. Based on the manga by Naoishi Arakawa, it was originally conceived as a one-shot for a competition. But after he did the one-shot competition, he actually managed to get his own manga serialized called Sayonara Football, but when he did that, he realized that he didn't actually want to do sports manga. He wanted to do something different. He decided to go ahead and return back to the one-shot idea he had, but he had another problem. Because there was another musical-focused manga at the time called Beck, and that one was focused on rock music, and his was focused on classical music, but publishers were still a bit concerned. Not only that, though, there was another classical-focused manga that was somewhat popular called Nodame Cantabile, but he convinced publishers to move ahead because he was focusing on specifically one instrument, the violin. At least that was the original plan, but then he quickly realized that having a manga that had two violinists was very visually stale, and that's where the piano comes in. But he had a problem. He needed to make sure that the violin and the piano playing were accurate, and so what did he do? He went and photographed and consulted multiple pianists and violinists. After the third volume of the manga was published, he then got an offer to turn it into an anime, but there was a couple problems with that. First off, they initially only wanted to approve it for 11 episodes, which would have been half an anime, not a complete story. The second problem was that the studio and the author were both very hesitant about how they were going to end the anime, with the author having the original one planned, but very skeptical about it. That's where the art director Kyohei Ishiguro comes in, and he basically saved the anime. He convinced the author Arakawa that it was perfect as it was and that they shouldn't change it, and neither should the studio. Not only that, the art director also convinced the studio that it needed to be greenlit for the entire 22 episodes that it deserved so that it would get the entire arc ended. And that's how we got the perfect ending that we deserve. Many people don't know this though, but the manga when it came out, it didn't get very good reviews. In fact, it was very mediocre critically because people said the art style was lacking and it wasn't able to really capture the emotional gravitas of the entire work. But the anime on the other hand, as soon as it came out, it was beloved. It was very popular. Everybody said the music and the art managed to really capture the heart of the story. It was so popular, in fact, that it got several adaptations. It got a live-action television show, it got a stage adaptation in both Japanese and English, and another fun fact, MatPat, the creator of Game Theory, he's the one who produced the English version. And every single April, the viewership spikes as people revisit their very favorite happy ending. Sorry, but that's the only lie I told.